Can someone help me understand why the latest Puss in Boots movie had me feeling entirely more anxious and invested than The Black Phone? A movie where literal children get got by Ethan Hawke, or Scream 5, or Ambulance? Remember Ambulance?
Danny, everybody knows how dangerous you are.
Do you?
Okay,
Come on.
alright.
Okay.
Or why Across the Spider-Verse was somehow more mature and genuinely funny in its writing than House Party, or Cocaine Bear, or the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Try anything and you're canceled, bro.
Or why Coraline, a movie that's more than a decade old, made nearly $5 million in 2 days when it was back in theaters for a weekend this year? That's half the profit of The Machine. That movie cost $20 million to make, and it had Luke Skywalker. People love Coraline. YouTube loves Coraline. I love Coraline. The sky is blue, and I'm slowly dying. But what does this mean? Do these edgy, bloody, R-rated movies just not have enough realistic portrayals of panic attacks? I don't know. First, stop giving Michael explosives and force him to write a script more than a page long. I don't know how to fix the rest of them. I think that is what it comes down to in the end though. The writing. Kind of like no matter how beautiful someone is on the outside, if their inside is all poorly written and full of plot holes and all gross and then it doesn't matter in the end. Come back, Cheryl. I mean, look at Coraline for example. Frickin' YouTube content goldmine over here. I swear, YouTube Coraline 5 years from now, and I bet it'd be hard to find anything out now. But there's a reason for that. It's well written, it's compelling, and I think animation might have something to do with it. Put down your chicken nuggies and juice. I'm not about to say all animated movies are good. That's actually the opposite of the truth.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
I mean, most animated movies are so bad we never even hear about them. It's like listening to your college roommate's rap song on SoundCloud that has 53 plays, but he swears it's gonna blow up, but he needs you to cover for his McChicken, and he promises he's gonna get rent to you soon. To be fair, animation and children go hand in hand, like peanut butter and sadness. And children don't care about anything. As long as bright shapes are moving on a screen an inch from their face, they're happy. And everyone wonders why we all want to be kids again. Everything Everywhere All at Once had one of the smallest budgets of any Oscar nominee, and it felt like the biggest and most ambitious movie. It also swept at the Oscars. I don't care what anyone says, that movie is awesome and deserves all the praise it gets. But why is that? Does it have to do with the fact that it was shot in under 40 days, or the entire effects team was made up of just 6 people? I knew the jets weren't real. Spider-Verse doesn't feel like it's written for a PG movie script. It's what happens when animation forces you to nail down every microsecond of a film, similar to the way a tight budget or a small VFX team might. Like, being the broke boy I am, I know exactly how many miles in the tank I have and what I need to do to maximize efficiency. Just kidding. I don't have a car. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is sometimes having an overabundance of resources and time can lead to a less inspired and cohesive project. Look at like the last 7 Fast and Furious movies. Guys, we can do better, especially you, Phil. Aww. You can't deny the recent revival of adult animation in the past few years though, especially in the West. Cyberpunk Edgerunners had me sobbing more than the death of my first pet. And Love, Death, Robots has some truly incredible episodes. Things like this are really cool to see, and I hope Western media continues with this tradition. Arcane was so good, it made me reinstall League of Legends. Hell, even Adventure Time just got its own adult spin-off in a way, where the Ice King is a depressed alcoholic and Finn is mourning the death of his best friend Jake. Isn't being an adult awesome? The real boss of this whole equation though is Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli.
I swear, they make their movies solely based on the graph of how much can we scar this child and keep it within a PG rating. Parents turn into pigs within the first 10 minutes? That's cool. Definitely didn't make me cry and beg my parents to come pick me up from Brian's 10th birthday party just to make sure they weren't pigs themselves. Besides straight up having some imagery that is so just not PG, the plots themselves are also written in a far more mature manner than most Western animated kids movies. Pinocchio wants to set out and be a real boy for 3 times in the same year for some reason. All good and fun, lighthearted, super kid friendly.
You will burn!
Okay, I'm gonna ignore that one for now, you got me there, Del Toro. But you get my point. For the most part, these animated PG Disney-flavored movies are pretty cookie-cutter. Then comes in Miyazaki, swearing to scar any child who crosses his path. Meet a friendly wizard with a traveling house? Fun, cool, more of that please. War crimes. Find yourself in a new dimension with crazy looking characters and bright colors? Eat this food or you will literally stop existing. It's refreshing to see, honestly, and one of the main reasons all of these movies are so popular decades past their release at this point. This is what these movies share with Spider-Verse and Last Wish, a compelling narrative, not concerned about the rating of the movie keeping it contained. Another thing, I mean really this video should have been called Very Specific Animated PG Movies Are Better Than Most R-Rated Studio Cash Grabs, but I had to get you in here somehow, didn't I? Let me back up and get out of PG land for a second.
Had your cookies and milk.
Because the movies I listed at the top of the video barely justify their R rating at all. I mean, Cocaine Bear, for example. I understand this movie was never supposed to be taken too seriously or anything, but hey, I'd take anything seriously for $35 million. And you'd expect it to live up to the expectations it sets up. Maybe a bunch of swearing from some local hillbillies, brutal kills from a bear who's feeling like Elvis in his prime time. But that never really happens. The kills aren't anything to write home about, and the plot, well, it's the title. Or The Black Phone, which the more I think about it is eerily similar to Coraline, you know, with the whole talking to dead kids thing. As far as I can remember though, nothing really happens in the movie to justify the R rating other than the subject matter being so dark itself. I'm well aware of the fact that most R-rated movies do have realistic and substantial gore. I mean, have any of us really ever recovered from Midsommar? Fuck. But I'm not here to talk about that. I just find it funny that in the past few years, especially in the West, animation has become a much more mature and well-written medium, while movies with a more adult rating end up being much more childish in their scripts and plots. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. Not every movie can be good. Not every movie can be the masterpiece that is Moonfall.
We have to go back to the moon. We have to see what's going on up there.
Remember the ending of Avengers Endgame, or The Flash, or the new Ant-Man? I bet if I were to take a still frame from each movie out of context, it would be kind of hard to tell the difference. Okay, except for the Flash movie. I'm not gonna harp on this too much, but man, nothing screams epic climax like a barren PlayStation 2 desert. I think the term visual diarrhea might be a bit harsh, but it's the first thing I thought of. Going back to my earlier point, sometimes having all the money, talent, and resources in the world can certainly lead to a more conflated and bland product. Animation, on the other hand, can avoid this problem. Well, good animated movies at least. I'm not playing any more clips from Pinocchio. It leads to a uniqueness and distinct look that by nature is harder to replicate in live action movies. That's not to say there aren't thousands of examples of extremely stylized live action movies, such as Blade Runner 2049, all of the John Wicks, or the previously mentioned Everything Everywhere All at Once. Funnily enough though, the same argument could have been made for pretty much all Western animated movies up until Spider-Verse in 2018. Before this, the Pixarification of the media had led most projects and studios to pursue a photoreal look, losing some of the character and style animation offers in the first place. Don't worry, this isn't going to turn into the 100th YouTuber video essay on how Spider-Verse changed animation forever, but it's certainly worth pointing out. I mean, I haven't even brought up the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but it's wearing its influences on its sleeve. This isn't a dig at all. I'm just happy to see that 5 years later, stylized animation is still going just as strong, if not even more so. I think Deadpool had a lasting impact on studios going for that R rating to attract a new kind of audience. We all know The Joker, now the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, was an excellent movie that definitely didn't attract any sort of controversy or negative criticism. Whereas studios used to push for a PG-13 rating to cast the widest net, I think it's flipped a bit, where edgy and gory content is being consumed more now than ever. My 11-year-old cousin saw the newest Batman in theaters featuring some very Saw-esque like traps, and he said the movie was good and that he liked it. I don't know if it's me or what, but I still have nightmares from when 10-year-old me snuck in and saw Prometheus in theaters. Yeah, that scene.
Surgical procedure to begin.
Let's just say I'm never getting into a tanning bed. Okay, let me get back on topic. I've made my points. You've managed to stop consciously existing for the last 9 minutes or so, so I'd say this is a win-win. More of this, please. Less of this.